Why I stopped sugar, and so should you. This video is about nutrition and health, and specifically the dangers of sugar and the damage it is causing to our health. So let's dive straight into it. Sugar is one of the things that you find in almost every food there is out there, especially the ones in the supermarket. It is very difficult to buy food that is not ready-made without finding some amount, most of the time excessive amount of sugar in it. Many people don't know the dangers of sugar, and until we know, we will keep consuming sugar. Let's start by talking about a structure in our body called the mitochondria. One of the functions of the mitochondria is to help regulate metabolic activities of the cells, which means the mitochondria is related to most metabolic diseases. Mitochondria also provides cell growth and multiplication of cells. If we consume fructose combined with a high-fat diet, this could lead to mitochondrial dysfunction, resulting in disease state, and this is usually responsible for things like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and lots of other metabolic diseases. With cancer, for instance, normal cells turn into abnormal cells due to a damage to the mitochondria. So most diseases are related to mitochondrial dysfunction. Many things destroy the mitochondria, but the biggest of them all is sugar. So as I mentioned earlier, it is very important for our mitochondria to be in a really good state, and lots of things can cause damage to the mitochondria, and we want to try by all possible means to not let our mitochondria be dysfunctional. So sugar, what is it? Many people know it as a table sugar. Sugar is a sweet crystalline substance obtained from various plants, especially sugarcane, consisting mainly sucrose, and is used as a sweetener in food and drinks, and also includes sweet carbohydrates or simple carbs. Right now, I want to talk about 6 things that sugar does to our body. There are loads of things that sugar does to our body, but I have decided to pick 6 of them for this video. And the first one is that sugar causes inflammation. As we mentioned earlier, when you consume sugar, you are literally poisoning your mitochondria. Inflammation is our body's immune response and is the root of all diseases in our body. An average person consumes at least 22 teaspoons of white sugar daily. And mostly this comes from things like cereals, syrups, drinks, and things like that. But our daily recommendation is 6 to 9 teaspoons of sugar, which is already still too high. A diet that is high in sugar is a key contributor to chronic inflammation, and several research studies have linked high sugar consumption with chronic inflammation. People with higher sugar diets have more inflammatory markers in their blood. So when we consume sugar, it increases something called inflammatory cytokines in our body. And these are indicated by 3 main things: C-reactive proteins, which is CRP for short, tumor necrosis factor, TNF, and interleukin 6 and 8. These are things triggered by the white blood cells to either attack or protect certain areas in our body. It's so bad, it causes this crazy havoc in our body, usually crazy high spikes in our blood sugar levels. And over time, high sugar intake has also been linked to chronic inflammatory responses. High blood sugar causes the body to become insulin resistant and stores fat in the abdominal region. This kind of fat is usually associated with inflammation, and high blood sugar causes the body to produce inflammatory molecules in the central nervous system. Excess sugar consumption can also contribute to oxidative stress in the body, which is something I have talked about so many times in all of my videos. Oxidative stress is an imbalance between the production of free radicals and the body's ability to neutralize them, and this leads to inflammation. Try and stop sugar and see what happens if you have been suffering from pain or inflammation of some sort. Just try it and see what happens. Number 2, sugar can cause cancers. See, the relationship between sugar and cancer is a complex one, and there is still lots of research to prove this. And it is important to note that the exact mechanisms are not fully understood. However, there are several ways in which a high sugar diet may be associated with an increased risk of cancer. Insulin resistance, for instance. Consuming too much sugar, especially refined sugars and high fructose corn syrup, has been linked to insulin resistance. And insulin resistance can lead to elevated insulin levels in the blood. And high insulin levels have been associated with an increased risk of certain cancers. Insulin is a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, and it also has growth promoting effect. Chronic inflammation is believed to play a big role in the development of cancers. Diets that are high in sugar can contribute to inflammation in the body, and this chronic inflammation may create an environment that is conducive to the development and progression of cancers. Also, high sugar intake is a contributing factor to obesity. Obesity is a known risk factor to several types of cancers, including breast, colon, and pancreatic cancer. The excess fat tissues that are associated with obesity can produce hormones and other substances that promote cancer development. Cancer is characterized by uncontrolled cell growth, and some studies have suggested that high sugar consumption may contribute to the promotion of cell proliferation, which is a hallmark of cancer development. Insulin and insulin-like growth factor, IGF, are hormones that can promote cell growth. High sugar intake may lead to elevated levels of these hormones, potentially influencing the development and progression of cancer. So, to be on the safe side, just avoid sugar. The next one is my favorite. Sugar causes collagen damage. A diet heavy in refined carbs and added sugars can lead to collagen damage and ultimately leading to your skin sagging and deep wrinkles. Ugh. Most people don't realize how much diet can impact your collagen. And research has found that patients with diabetes experience poor wound healing. This is because the elevated blood sugar levels in diabetes causes changes in collagen. And these same effects can also be seen in our face, in our skin. When blood sugar rises, a chemical process called glycation takes place. This results in the production of compounds known as advanced glycation end products, also known as AGEs. These sticky compounds act to cross-link collagen fibers. Just think of collagen fibers as a strong net that bounces back easily. Then picture what happens when that net starts to get tangled up. It begins to sag and doesn't bounce back as it should. In our skin, that translates to a lack of elasticity, that is, sagging and wrinkling. And the key here is that maintaining steady levels of blood sugar is important. So if you want to keep looking young, cut your sugar. Sugar can cause fatty liver. A high intake of fructose has been linked to an increased risk of fatty liver. Fructose is a common type of sugar. The one major source is high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, which is used to sweeten things like soda, candy, baked goods, cakes, cereals, and you name it. Things that we mostly buy from the shops. Unlike glucose and other sugars taken up by many cells in the body, fructose is almost exclusively broken down by the liver. Our liver converts fructose into energy and stores it as glycogen. However, the liver can only store so much glycogen before excess amounts are turned into fat. So large amounts of added sugar can overload our liver, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is something that you do not want. And this is a condition characterized by excess fat buildup in the liver. Stay away from sugar. The next one is that sugar can lead to weight gain, which I think a lot of us already know this. Obesity rates are going up across the world, and there has been loads of evidence pointing to added sugar, usually from sweetened beverages, which is a major cause of obesity. High sugar content drinks such as sodas, juices are packed with fructose, a kind of simple sugar. And research has shown that consuming fructose increases hunger and the desire for food more than glucose. Research has also shown that too much fructose consumption may cause resistance to leptin, which is a hormone that regulates hunger and tells your body to stop eating. Also, consuming sugary beverages is associated with an increased amount of visceral fat, a kind of deep belly fat linked to diabetes and heart diseases. We do not want that. I mean, just 330 mils of a can of Coke contains about 10 teaspoons of sugar. Why should anybody be consuming that much sugar? We are literally killing ourselves. Stop consuming sugar. And the last but not the least is that sugar increases our risk of heart diseases and strokes. Many research studies have linked high sugary diets with an increased risk of many diseases, including heart disease and strokes, which is the #1 cause of death across the world. High sugary diets can lead to obesity and inflammation, as well as triglyceride, blood sugar, and blood pressure levels, all of which are risk factors of heart diseases and stroke. Foods that are high in sugar have been linked to high levels of blood cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, which have been known to clog the arteries that supply oxygen to our heart. When it comes to cardiovascular health, it is important to consider the type of sugar that we consume. Consuming foods that are high in free sugars increases our risk of heart diseases and stroke. Free sugars are all sugars that are added to a food by the manufacturer, consumer, or the cook, plus sugars naturally found in honey and things like syrups and unsweetened fruit juices. While there is no way to completely eradicate all sugar from the diet, because we won't want to do that, it is important that we consume foods that contain natural sugars, as fruits and vegetables are not added sugar. Natural sugar provides energy for the body. Unlike other proteins and fats, sugar provides an instant source of energy as it is readily metabolized. But we have to choose the right kind of sugar. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you.